Hey YouTube, Zach Guy here. And today I want to bring to you a knife I haven't talked about before. As you can see, it's a Victorinox. And it's just basic Victorinox box. This is the Explorer. And inside the box, along with the knife, is some paperwork. Just to show that real quick, if I can unfold it. It shows how to clean and oil the knife, how to use the toothpick and tweezers. Also talks about some different parts of the knife there, the screwdriver and large flat tip. And then the can opener and how to use it, which is going to be kind of handy because this knife is a Christmas present for my grandson, and it's his first knife, so he will need this information. So that's kind of cool. And again, the pamphlet is in several different languages. Now, got this one in black, and what I wanted to show is compare this one, which I just got, with the one I've had for several years. Turn those around. This was just recently made, evidently. It's brand new out of the box. This one I've had since around 1988, 89 time frame. Somewhere around there is when I got it. If you look at the scales there, you can see there's some pocket wear on it, so I have had it for a while. But I basically wanted to show the main differences between the older model and the newer model. And one thing right off, you can see the magnifier on it is clear plastic all the way through instead of the gray. But before we get into comparing the two, just go over a few specs real quick. This is a 91mm knife, which is 3.5 inches long. The blade is 70mm, which is 2.3 inches. And open, it's 165mm, which comes out to 6.25 inches. The width here is 20.7mm, which comes out to 0.82 inches. One thing to say, if you have plus scales on this, it'll be just a little bit wider. I think it comes out to about 21mm. And it weighs in at 10.1 grams, which is 3.5 ounces. So let's go ahead and look at it. Got your main blade, small blade, scissors, then it has an inline Phillips, as you can see there, and then opposite it is the magnifier. And then you have the large screwdriver cap lifter, which is a 90-degree stop, and your small screwdriver can opener. Then on the back you have your corkscrew, your multi-purpose hook, and then the awl with the hole in it. Now, one other thing, and hopefully you can see this, and I'll use a little safety pin here to point to it right here, right there, is a small hole to put a straight pin in. Doesn't come with the straight pin, but I'm putting one in there for my grandson because you can always use a straight pin when you're out doing whatever. And I've got the red on there because it goes with the black, and if you drop it, make it easier to find. Also adding on here, pimping it out a little bit for him, putting the screwdriver that's interesting. Have to look and see if I have a smaller screwdriver, because there we go. That one's just a little tight. Had to turn it down in there a little bit, but now he's got the screwdriver in there. And one other thing I'm going to do to it is get rid of the toothpick and putting in a firefly. Just kind of make it different. Now, as I was going to say, I was going to show the differences in the knives. The older one does not have that little hole in it for the, as you can see, for the pin. And you look on the back, see if we can, you only have two tools. You have the awl and the corkscrew. Awl does not have a hole in it, whereas the new one does have the hole in it, the sewing eye. And the new one has the multi-purpose hook, and the older model does not. Also, if you look at the corkscrew on both, and hopefully the camera can pick it up, corkscrew's a little bit different. On the newer one it's completely rounded, and on the older one you can see where it has the line going through the middle on the twist. And then coming back to the front, the large screwdriver cap lifter does not have a 90-degree stop like the new one does. And we also got the tweezers there, so that'll come in handy too. And as I was saying, the magnifier is different. The newer one, the lens itself is a little bit larger. They're both about the same size. If you kind of put them over top of each other, they're both about the same size, but the actual lens itself, as you can see on the newer one's bigger. But I believe the gray is about an, I think this is around a 5 power, and the gray is about an 8 power, 10 power lens. So the lens on it is a little bit stronger. Those are the main differences there. And also the gray plastic just seems a little bit more sturdy to me. Only time will tell. And if my grandson is anything like his dad, we'll see if that lasts. His dad could tear apart a tank, I think. And then your inline screwdriver. Oh, wow. That's got a half stop. And that's got a half stop. So the inline screwdriver does have a half stop on it. And they're pretty much the same, a little bit different profile. The shank on this one seems to be a little bit thicker. Even looking that way, it looks to be a little bit thicker. Now the length on them, the older one is longer and more narrow than the new one. See, check the scissors out, see if there's much difference between them. Yeah, they've changed on the scissors. The older one has a screw on it, whereas the newer one is just a rivet. But they should cut pretty much the same. Straighten up my cloth here. I need to clean mine out, but you can look at the tang stamp on the back here. It says Officer Swiss, and on the front has the Victorinox Switzerland stainless steel Magnifier. Probably pronounced that wrong, but on the newer one it has Officer Swiss also on the back. In the front says, hopefully we can get a good look at it, Victorinox, made in Switzerland, Magnifier. But I believe, yes, the tang stamps on the back changed up a little bit. The newer one says Officer Swiss. The old one also says that, but it's got the crossbow on it. So, now I have used, as you can see, my red one. I used it quite a bit using the Boy Scouts, or with the Boy Scouts when I was a leader, going out doing survival campouts with the scouts and whatnot, showing the boys how to start a fire with a magnifying glass. I'll be doing that with my grandson, and also just teach them how to use a knife properly. Now, one thing as far as the hooks go, a little bit of background on this one. In the late 80s, early 90s, there was a version of the Explorer that came out that had the plus scales. That's why I said something earlier about the plus scales being a little bit wider to accommodate the ink pen and so on. And in 1991 is when they added the first multi-purpose hooks on the back. And if you have the plus scales, one of the cool things is you can put the ink pen in here, push this down, it'll hold the ink pen in place, and then you can use the rest of the knife to write with it. That's one thing to use the hook for. One of the other things, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, this hook is used in Europe. They have their bags that they carry, go out, do their shopping, and they have string handles, and the string digs into the handle. So they could hook the string on here and then use their knife as a handle. That's just something that they do in Europe. You can still do that if you're carrying one of the plastic bags and you're going to have to carry it a ways. You can still use that for that. The plastic bags will bunch up and get into there, and you can carry it that way. But most people have backpacks now, so they'd probably put that stuff in the backpack. You can also use the little hook to tighten up string and so on packages or boxes or whatever, if you need to do that. And really, people can have come up, I've read different things that they've used this hook for, so it's not as useless as some people think. Well, that about ends my review on the Explorer. Hope you enjoyed my little review on the Explorer. If you have any questions or comments about it, please leave them below. And remember, always be prepared.